Who we'll be talking about on all of these shows is Kyle McCord, who joins me every week on Tuesday, brought to you by Davidson Ford of Clay and Davidson Chevy of Rome, is Kyle McCord. Here is this week's visit with QB1. Well, it is our weekly visit with Kyle McCord, brought to you by our friends at Davidson Ford of Clay and Davidson Chevy of Rome. And welcome in, as always, Kyle. And I said you scared us a little bit on play one. You were pretty good after that. What was going through your mind after that first series?
I just wanted to make things interesting.
you succeeded.
Yeah, keep everybody on the edge of their seat.
I'd say it worked. What goes through your mind in moments like that? Like, obviously, you've thrown a bad pass before. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you thinking on the sideline during that? Are you talking with Nunzio? What's the communication like to get ready to get back out there?
Yeah, I said this in the post-game press conference. I feel like that's one of the benefits of playing a lot of football is that it's not always going to be a picture-perfect start. And when you go 3 and out on the first drive, obviously it's not what you want, but it's a long game. So, watch those plays on the iPad and just regrouped, and then we went back, and that second drive went down and scored. So I feel like that's just a kind of testament to how much football I've played up to this point and just kind of staying calm and collected.
Fran said he just totally left you alone, right? Did he even bother you at all?
Fran didn't even say anything. He knew I would snap back into it.
I'd say that's the difference, right? If the head coach is maybe the offensive coordinator, maybe you're having a quick chat. So, yeah. All right, now you're into it. What started working for you when it started clicking there on drive 2?
I feel like we ran the ball pretty well on that second drive, and then I feel like what really got us going, I threw a seam to Trebor down the right side, got into their territory, and then after that I felt we started to roll a little bit. We were able to pass the ball and run the ball pretty efficiently, and then that first drive, OG made a really good catch on the sideline, then run it in for a touchdown, and that kind of took the top off of it, and then I feel like after that we were pretty good.
Trebor was outstanding. I mean, it's without question. I mean, he's been hurt a lot in recent years, but it's by a wide margin the best game he's ever had in his career. What was the connection you felt with him on Saturday?
He's, I think, a really good athlete, change of direction-wise, getting in and out of cuts. And then on top of that, I feel like his football IQ is really good. He just has a really good feel of the defense, knows how to beat man coverage, and then zone, does a really good job of just finding the open area for me. And then I feel like on top of that, he has really good ball skills. I feel like the touchdown, really both of them, the one at the end of the half, tracking that ball over his shoulder and then making sure he stayed in bounds was really impressive. And then reacting to the back shoulder on the second one was really good as well. And then the third one, even too, we called that little sweep play for him at the goal line and just kind of felt the opening in the line and just scooted in the end zone. So I feel like all three of those just kind of displayed his feel for the game.
We saw, the one before the half, that's a throw that it goes to one spot only, and he shows up in the right place. I want to go into that drive here a little bit because we spent so much time around here talking about clock management and all this end of the half stuff. And Fran said going to the game, he's like, I'm not really nervous except for about this stuff, like getting it back. To watch the defense the drive before, to be looking at the clock, what's going through you getting ready to go back out there with 50-some-odd seconds left?
We literally practiced a 2-minute drive every single day in fall camp. And different scenarios. Sometimes it was the end of the game, you need a touchdown, or the end of the half, and you just want to end with either the ball or points. So it was a situation that we've been in a lot throughout fall camp, and then I feel like the defense did a good job of holding them in the red zone, and then Coach Fran did a really good job of time management there, and leaving us with about 50 seconds left and still having a timeout. And in college football, when the ball stops, when you get out of bounds and a first down, 50 seconds is a long time. So we started off fast with the completion to OG, and then just kind of gradually moved our way down the field, and then ball on the 20 with 10 seconds left. The coaches, I think, had enough trust in the offense that we would either, take a shot at the end zone or, incompletion, kick a field goal, because that's a situation that we've been in a lot of times. And so I kind of knew what the mindset was going to be. So I feel like it was just a really clean operation overall, starting with the defense getting a stop, and then the time management from the coaches, and then the offense going out and executing.
Yeah, Fran said after the game, and I think he said it again yesterday in his press conference, something like, man, as you said, we do this every day in practice, like they score every day. How close is that? How often are you guys going down the field and putting up points when you're doing it in practice?
I feel like we've been really good at it. the defense will get us here and there. It's a good competition, though.
Yeah.
It's a good competition. I feel like it's one of those things where, you expect to score every time, but, I don't know how realistic those expectations are, especially when, we're going up against a defensive unit like ours.
Did you think that touchdown pass, in your mind, was that your best throw of the day? Or do you think you had a different one somewhere that stuck out?
I feel like that was probably the best pass. I think the best play, honestly, was probably the one that got called back to OG in the fourth quarter.
That was a nice play.
I feel like just extending it on third down, and then OG made a really good decision just to kind of wheel out of that and take it high. I felt defense underneath of him, and a 50-yard completion. But I would probably say that was my best pass of the day, the 2-minute touchdown.
I think the best catch might have belonged to Jackson Meeks on the play he made up the right sideline.
100%.
Heck of a catch.
I don't think that one can be questioned. That was big, third down, and going and making that catch. And I think 2 plays later we scored. Big credit to Jackson on that. That was big. That was really big for us.
Yeah, it was still a game at that point, too. That helped really stretch it out there in the third quarter. We got Kyle McCord with us here. A little look back at Ohio. And, I'm sure we'll be talking about him all year long, but we certainly talked about Arande last week in the lead up to the season. You probably didn't get to see this a ton, but 2 years ago, Arande had a great season, but like everybody on the world knew the ball was going to him. What did you experience on Saturday that, a lot of targets, but you had Pena, you had Meeks, you had Zeed, you had these other guys. How did you see defenses reacting to Arande, and how were you able to adjust off that?
Yeah, I feel like obviously teams know how good of a player he is, so he'll get some coverage towards them. They'll try to put their best defender on him or try to double him in certain situations. But when that happens, there are other mismatches and other areas to attack with some of the other guys, like you mentioned. And then if he's in a one-on-one scenario, I like that matchup as well. So I think just playing with a guy like that, it opens up all the other guys too. When you play with a really good receiver, it's if he gets one-on-one coverage, great. And then if not, that means somebody else is going to have a matchup that's favorable.
I can think of maybe one play where where you really tried to stuff it into him. It was one up the sideline. What's the balance like there? Guys like him, like when they're covered, they're still open. Like how do you balance okay, we want to get him the ball versus that's not what the defense is telling me right now?
Yeah, I think you want to obviously be smart with your decisions, but at the same time, like you said, even when it looks like he's blanketed, I think if you just give him a chance, more times than not, he's going to come down with it. So I think it's just balancing risk and reward, making sure that you're not putting the ball in harm's way, but still giving him a shot to go out and make a play.
So you guys get the win, and 1-0, Fran's first game, Fran's first win. Take me into the locker room. Is that a team celebration? Are you guys celebrating your head coach getting the job done? What's the moment like after the game?
Yeah, a little bit of both. His message to us was, we won by 16 points, and that was, our goal to win week 1. And that's great. But at the same time, there was still a lot of things we can improve on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And I think that's exciting when you win by that much against a quality opponent and there's still room to grow. It's exciting to get back on the practice field and get better. And then at the same time, enjoy it because, we worked hard for that win. And then on top of that, celebrating his first win, coming in and really, in my mind, turning the culture around, turning the program around, and getting that first one under his belt. It's a big accomplishment. So a little bit of both, but I think the guys were just happy to finally get out there and play and get a win. And, now we're getting into it.
He said himself he felt a little tight late in the week last week. Have you noticed that go away now in the first couple days after the game?
Yeah. He didn't show it, I don't think. Even if he felt he did a good job throughout the week of kind of keeping us on task and focused. But I feel like now it's like, all right, we got the first one out of the way, which can sometimes be the toughest one. And so now from here on out, it's just football, just playing the same old game. And I feel like he did a really good job, like I said, throughout the week, just keeping the guys focused, not letting us look ahead to Saturday on Tuesday, making sure that we were locked into practice and the things that needed to be done that day in order to have success out there.
We got Kyle McCord with us, and you got a big game this week. What a crazy week it was in the ACC. This league looks as wide open as possible. Georgia Tech this week. How much did you watch other teams? What'd you do this weekend? You watch anybody else play?
Yeah, it's a little tough when you play at 3:30 because you can't really watch the noon games, and then you can't watch the 3:30 games, obviously, because you're playing. But went home and watched the Texas A&M Notre Dame game. I'm not sure if any ACC teams are playing that late.
I think Georgia Tech was on, but
Georgia Tech was on.
I'm sure you've gotten plenty of film on them already.
Georgia Tech was on that night, yeah. So I was watching that game too, and then obviously knew I was going to watch it on film this week as well. And then some really good football on Sunday between USC and LSU. I thought
it was a fun game.
Yeah, both quarterbacks played well. And then yesterday, I think Boston College coming out and making a statement. So like you said, I think the ACC is wide open, and it's exciting that we finally get to get our hands on some conference play.
Yeah, and only week 2. It feels like an oddly important game, right, for week 2 with 2 teams looking to prove themselves here this year.
Yeah, no, I mean obviously they went in Ireland and made a statement week 0, and I think kind of put the country on notice that they're for real. And then I feel like they played really well last week too. So they're coming in 2-0, and I feel like like you said, it's a big game, especially early on in the year. 2 teams that are looking to make a statement.
Yeah, last thought for now, Kyle. Just playing in the Dome. What was it like? What was that atmosphere like for you?
It was awesome. It's a different type of noise. It traps everything in, and even though it's not a huge crowd, like 75, 80,000 people, it still is extremely loud. And I'm thankful that when I'm on the field, it's relatively quiet. But I know for the defense, like they feed off that energy. They feed off the fans making noise, and I know it makes it hard for an opposing quarterback.
Yeah, they made a couple of goal line stops like right in front of the student section. I'm sure that's a little imposing when you're staring at that as the other team.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, best of luck this week, and we'll talk again. Well, not next week. It's a bye. We'll talk again in a couple weeks, all right?
Sounds good. Let's do it.